Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. I'm so happy you're here. This is Positive Mindset for Entrepreneurs. I am your host, Dana Wild. This is the show where you build your business quickly by feeling good and training your brain. Oh, yeah. We love that, don't we? So, today we are going to talk about how to break through financial anxiety, financial stress, financial worry, financial anxiety. Ugh, right? It's the worst feeling. We had somebody write in, and by the way, if you're interested in getting your question on the show, look for the link in the description. You can just fill out a form and it's anonymous. So this person wrote and said, I am the sole provider in my household, and every month I'm stressed about whether or not I can make the bills. I know that negative thinking isn't helping me. What can I do to make it stop? Okay, first off, we're going to cover a lot today. So let's hit the ground running. All right. First thing, you're doing a lot right. You are aware. You know that you've got this stress. You know that you've got this anxiety. You know that it's caused by your thinking about it over and over again. It's causing you to generate emotions. Emotions are guidance for us. Emotions, when we have negative emotions, we know that that's telling us, okay, there's something off in my thinking. This thinking is generating this negative feeling, and you have already had the wake up call. So that's huge. That puts you ahead of like most of the planet, right? Then, and I love this verbiage, by the way, that you use. You use this verbiage. I want to find it here again. What can I do to make it stop? That's so good because that's how it feels, doesn't it? It feels like it's happening to you when we're experiencing it. It feels like the emotion is happening to you, the thoughts are happening to you, like there's no way to make it stop or turn it off. And so it's very good verbiage. Number two thing you're doing right, you're aware that it's not benefiting you. Fantastic. Like, it's crazy that we think every day that we can complain and worry and stress, and that somehow that's going to help us out of the hole that we might be in, whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter what the topic is. It's human nature. Most of the planet thinks that talking about it over and over and over again is going to help it. Focusing on the problem is going to help it. You are awake and you know that that's not going to help. I remember years ago, I had somebody call in who was saying, I'm stuck over and over again. Like, I'm stuck. My business is stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck. And it's so obvious that you're not going to get your business moving by saying, I'm stuck. I'm stuck. I'm stuck over and over again. And you get that. You are already aware and have already made a decision to turn it around. That's the third thing you're doing right. You understand that it's not benefiting you to stay with your wheels turning like that. So just hurrah all around. You're doing a lot right. So now this is where the work comes in. We like to call it the play. Being aware and waking up and making a decision to turn it around, it gets you most of the way there. But the rest of the way there comes in finding that way to shift it. This is the play that all of us are doing on a variety of different topics. Whatever place that you feel stuck, whatever place that you're having fear, whatever place that you're feeling anxiety in your life, whatever place that you're feeling stressed out or overwhelmed, the after you're aware of it and after you've made a decision to turn it around, this is when we get that big pile of tools in our emotional tool belt to try to shift it. So here are some fast ideas for you that you can try out and play with. So the first one is tapping. It's also called emotional freedom technique. There are probably 1.7 million videos on YouTube about how to tap. So I won't even go into how to tap. But part of the reason tapping is so effective, you actually tap on different parts of your body and your face, upper body, and you end up calming the amygdala part of your brain. That's the part of the brain that's responsible for that fight, flight, freeze, reaction. So tapping is very effective. And It's a great go-to tool for any kind of anxiety or stress or overwhelm. You will see after one use, in just a matter of a few minutes, you will feel better. So rather than go into how to tap, I'm going to let you look up one of those 1.2 million videos that are out there and check it out. Okay. Next, shifting the fear. A lot of the reason we feel fearful about something is because we're calling it fear and we're staying stuck in that feeling of fear. I heard Dr. Paul Sheely say something cool about fear one time. He said that it's really our projection in the future of something that we have no evidence is ever going to happen, that it's completely false projection in the future of something. We have no idea if it's going to happen or not, so we're just making it up. And obviously he said it much more eloquently than that, but you get the idea, right? We're making it up. We're afraid of stuff that we're just fabricating out of thin air. We're completely fabricating the fear. And so sometimes it's easier to shift yourself to a different emotion that's more active. So you might be feeling fear or worry, and so you're thinking thoughts that are fearful or worried. If you can shift it to a more active, less passive emotion like anger, it will help you get yourself out of it. This is how we move along the emotional scale. So when you're feeling fear, you cannot have somebody come up to you and say, you should think happy thoughts. It's just way too far up the emotional scale. You can't think happy thoughts, but you could probably get angry. That's right there next to you on the emotional scale. If you would like to know more about the emotional scale, check the description box. We've got a link that'll give you a lot of information about the emotional scale. So when you're feeling fearful, it helps to get angry. And you can just get angry at yourself, like, oh man, I cannot believe I'm thinking about this again. Why do I continue to think about this? I cannot believe that I'm obsessing about this. I want to make it stop. It's making me go out of my mind. Come on, right? Like you can just get angry like that for literally 60 seconds. After you have that shift, say a bunch of angry sentences. I'm angry because of this. I'm angry because of that. I'm angry because I'm in this mess. I'm angry because I can't stop thinking about it. I'm angry because of this, right? After you say a bunch of angry sentences for 60 seconds, you can shift it to just frustrated sentences. Well, I'm not really angry. I'm really just frustrated, but it is frustrating. And then say frustrated sentences for 60 seconds. I'm frustrated because of this. I'm frustrated because of that. Then move to hope. Once you get to hopeful statements, you will start to notice a shift really, really quickly. You can move from fear to anger to frustration to hope all within a few minutes. So now you start saying those hopeful sentences. I hope I start feeling better. I hope some money comes in that I'm not expecting. I hope things go better for me. I hope I can think of some good sentences. I hope I can shift my feelings. I hope I start to feel better. I hope I can shift my feelings. I hope some money falls in my lap. I hope something cool happens to me. I hope I get an order online. I hope I start to feel better. Like even what I say, 7, 8, 9 of them right there, you start to notice that shift, don't you? Doesn't take much. If you get to when you get to hope, switch that and say it for a minute, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, then you'll start to get some momentum. Part of the reason why it feels like this verbiage that you used, that make it stop, like our thoughts are thinking us, is because you do get emotional momentum. Emotional momentum, we talk about positive emotional momentum all the time on the show. It also works in the negative. Once your thoughts kind of get that negative emotional momentum, it can feel like, oh my gosh, it's going to take forever to get out of this. But you'll be surprised at even just a minute or two of focused attention, you will start to shift it. The earlier in the day you start, the better. Sometimes at the end of the day or even in the middle of the day, it's like, okay, I'm just going to go take a nap, or I'm going to watch some comedies or something just to get my mind off it. But if you can get some emotional momentum going in the direction of hope, you got a real chance, right, of shifting it. Next, talking about shifting what we call fear, I've had one come back on my radar. This is an old trick that came back on my radar recently, and I kind of like it. And what it is it's the shift of calling fear fear and instead calling it excitement. Do you remember that one? It's been around for a long time, and I think sometimes we forget that it actually works and how easy it is to use it. So the way that fear feels in our body is the same way that excitement feels in our body. So when you have that feeling of fear, see if you can talk about it more like excitement. And you might say, well, how can I talk about being scared to pay the bills at like exciting? So this is where we get creative as brain trainers, right? We are we are not the ordinary population. We are people who are looking for solutions and finding ways to shift this. So with excitement, you might try some sentences like, okay, I trust in my brain. I'm excited to see how my brain figures this out. I'm excited to see what ideas come on my radar. I'm excited to see how this turns itself around. I'm excited to see how this shifts. Like all of those sentences, when you're feeling fear, they're vague enough that your brain kind of buys them. Your brain goes, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see how we figure this out, right? So use the word excitement instead of the word fear and play around verbiage and get creative, okay? Next, don't underestimate the power of just dropping it. Just drop the story and quit. Just knock it off, right? And here's what I mean. I'm going to tell you a story about myself. I remember when I was in my 20s, early 20s, and I was really concerned about money. I was very worried about money. And I went to see my grandmother, and for some apparent reason, I thought it was a good idea to tell her about it and say how stressed I was and how worried I was. And she went to her wallet and she pulled out a $5 bill and said, gave me the $5 bill. And I remember at the time, like it was all I could do not to laugh because I wanted to say, like, oh, you have no idea. This is not going to help at all. Like I've got big problems. And of course, in my little 20-year-old brain, my big problems were a few $100s worth, whatever they were. But instead, of course, I graciously took the $5. Then a decade later, in my 30s, I remember being really stressed about money, really worried about money. And for some reason, at that exact moment, I had the memory of that 20-year-old experience when my grandmother gave me that $5. And I thought to myself at the time in my 30s, thinking, well, this is just stupid. You've been thinking about this for a decade. You know, how long are you going to worry about money? This is just silly. Then, if that wasn't enough, I had the same experience in my 40s. And that's when I was done with it. It was like such an epiphany to say, you know what? Decade after decade after decade of this kind of financial stress, it is done. And I think many people can identify with that. The worry becomes a habit of thought. And you when you recognize that it's a habit of thought and that it's not based in reality, it becomes easier and easier to let it go. For example, how many years have you worried about something that never happened and never came true? Likely many. And weirdly enough, many times when you have financial stress, money just falls in your lap in weird ways. That's the next tip I want to give you. Start making a small miracle list. See, you might even remember some events when it's happened in your life already. But if you haven't, start right now. Times when you've worried about something financial, and by the way, you can use this for anything, but we're talking about financial stress for this listener. When you've worried about things and then some weird money came in that covered it, some strange thing happened that covered it, all the things that you've worried about that turned out to never happen, all the times you've been concerned about things that turned out it just worked itself out, or some unexpected money came in, or something happened. And when we start seeing that pattern of worrying for nothing, worrying again for nothing, worrying again for nothing, it becomes very easy as brain trainers to go, you know what? I think I'm just done with this. And I think I'm just going to let it go and move on, because it's going to sort itself out, which is one of my favorite mantras. That's my next tip here. This is going to sound so trite, but I'm telling you, if you can just start saying to yourself, this is going to sort itself out. This will sort itself out. This is going to sort itself out. It's almost like you've got that background story that says, I'm glad I don't have to worry about this because this is going to sort itself out. When you feel the relief in saying that sentence, say it right now. This is going to sort itself out. And again, you can use that for a lot of things. Any problem in your life actually that feels like it's really big and it's got your attention and you're thinking it over and over and over again. I don't care if it's a family issue or a relationship issue or a financial issue or even a health issue. If you just say to yourself, you know what, this is going to sort itself out. Whew, it's going to sort itself out. Yeah, this is going to sort itself out. It always does. This is going to sort itself out. Feel how good that feels. You can trust in homeostasis. That's the next thing. Homeostasis is the desire of your body and brain for things to stay the same. Strangely enough, people use homeostasis kind of against you. Like they want you to think your brain is sabotaging you or something like that, but it's not true. Homeostasis actually works in your favor in this case. The body's desire to stay the same. So when you're hot, you don't have to say a bunch of mantras to sweat. You're just going to sweat because your body's going to regulate itself. When you're cold, you're going to shiver. You don't have to make a vision board to shiver. It's going to happen because your body's going to regulate itself. Many of us have had this experience of homeostasis with weight. We stay within a certain weight. There's a low and a high, and we kind of always stay in that range because we've got homeostasis for that weight. We have homeostasis for certain income levels. So if generally speaking, you're somebody who has paid your bills, you know, even though you're saying here you're feeling stressed about making the bills, but you've generally done okay with it. You've paid your bills, you're consistent. Your brain knows this is who you are. This is homeostasis. You have got homeostasis around the idea of paying your bills every month. And you can take that to the bank, right? You can know like, okay, this is going to sort itself out. This is who I am. This is what I have a history of this. I also have a history of worrying about this, and it's never come to be. So I'm just going to relax and just know that this is going to sort itself out. Homeostasis is my friend, right? Next, insert your favorite trick here. There are hundreds and hundreds of ways that we relax ourselves, we talk ourselves off the ledge, we turn our brains around, we start to feel better. There are so many different ways to do that. So find your favorite way. Play with different ideas. Start making a list of these things work. Maybe it's making a list of the money that you already know is coming in. Maybe it's, you know, you've got a bunch of little things like rebates even, or little things that are coming in. Maybe it's making a list of the money that has been flowing to you and the ways, all the different avenues that you've got money coming to you. Maybe it's finding a good inspirational video. Maybe it's listening to a good meditation. Maybe it's taking a walk in nature. We know the things that work for us. So play with all sorts of different things and shift your thinking. This list is not inclusive of everything that's available out there, but as brain trainers, we know this is the ticket. This is the play. This is the way to do it. Know that it's possible. Know that it is possible for you. You can let go of this. You can drop this. You can shift this. You can't stop thinking about it, but you can start thinking something else. So remember that. All the ways that I can think of new things, all the new opportunities, all the ways that I can focus my attention in ways that are calming and feel better and relaxing. The little sentences that I can say. Think of how you would talk to your best friend. Your best friend, you would say, you know what? You're going to work this out. Things work out for you. You felt this way before and it's always worked out. It's normal to have this experience, but I am sure of it that this is going to turn itself around. You are somebody who is creative and clever and resourceful. You are providing for your family. You've done that over and over again. You can trust yourself. You can trust that this is going to sort itself out. You will ease those emotions. Talk to yourself like you're your best friend. Treat yourself better. Be gentle with yourself. You're doing a great job. You're so far of the way there already. And this little bit more is going to start to become a habit. When you really start to think those thoughts over and over and over again, this is getting sorted. Things are working out for me. I'm going to figure this out. I always do figure it out. I love that I can just let this go because it's getting sorted out. I'm going to relax around this and trust that my brain has got homeostasis and that I'm getting better and better at this. I'm going to feel better right now. I'm going to shift my thinking. I love that I can shift my thinking so easy. I love feeling more hopeful. I love that the word hope alone will get me there. I love that it only takes 60 seconds to 90 seconds of feeling better and I start to shift this. I love that I can take baby steps and I can play around with wording and I can catch myself when I go off track and come back. I love this is about focusing on what I want and focusing where I do want to shift to. I love focusing on the way that things are shifting for me. I love that I know this stuff. I love that I know that if I can do this and I can because I'm getting better and better at it all the time, that this is breaking the habit of that other crazy train over and over again thinking that I was doing. It's so good to know that I can work this muscle and I can get good at this. I can get good at thinking positive thoughts. I can good at feeling hopeful. I feel good about all of the financial successes I am having. I can feel good about the direction I am going. I love that this is just a matter of practice and I'm practicing already and it is this easy and I'm feeling good about myself. I'm feeling good that I'm getting better at this. I'm getting better and 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 better at this every day. It's getting easier and easier and easier. I love that it is this easy. I love that my brain supports me. I love being a brain trainer. I love getting better at this. Without a doubt, you have totally got this.